Imagine a monk, kneeling alone in a cold cell at midnight, sentenced to death, accused of a crime so severe that the monks themselves chose to bury him alive, walled in, without light, without food, until madness consumed his soul. Desperate, he proposes a pact. He would write in a single night the greatest book ever made by humankind, a work that would gather all the world's knowledge, sacred texts, witchcraft, medicine, astronomy. The superiors, laughing at the idea, agreed. They knew it was impossible, but what they didn't know is that that night, in absolute silence, the monk would summon a dark entity, and there, sealing a blood pact, he would not only save his life, he would write the Codex Gigas, the book that would later be called the Devil's Bible. When the monks opened the book for the first time, they couldn't believe what they saw. The Codex Gigas wasn't just enormous, it was perfect. Each of the more than 300 pages had been written by hand, in the same handwriting, from beginning to end. No tremors, no mistakes, no change whatsoever in the thickness of the ink, as if it had been done without pausing to breathe. Modern experts estimate that an ordinary monk would take over 20 years to write it all, but according to the legend, he did it in a single night. And then comes the question that still echoes to this day. What kind of being could write so much with such perfection in so little time? Was it truly the hand of a man, or the handwriting of something that was never human? At the heart of the Codex Gigas, there is one page no one ever forgets, a massive illustration taking up the entire sheet. A grotesque being with reddish skin, monstrous claws, a forked tongue, and piercing eyes that seem to follow you. Even when the book is closed, it is the most detailed depiction of the devil ever made in the Middle Ages. And the most disturbing part? No biblical context accompanies the image. No description, no moral, no warning, just him, seated on a throne of darkness. The figure contrasts with the rest of the book, as if it had been placed there by another hand with another intention. Many believe this page was the price paid by the monk, a symbolic signature, or perhaps an eternal reminder of who truly wrote the Codex Gigas. The Codex Gigas is often called the Devil's Bible, but it's not just a Bible. The book is a true dark encyclopedia with over 70 kilograms of paper and ink, gathering a kind of knowledge that perhaps should never have been compiled. Yes, it contains the complete Bible, but it also includes exorcism rituals, healing formulas with bizarre ingredients, conjurations against spirits, an astrological calendar with apocalyptic predictions, and even secret texts on medieval medicine and necromancy. It's as if someone tried to merge the sacred and the profane, as if the author sought to challenge the very nature of faith. Imagine a book where blessings and curses walk side by side, a manual that could just as easily save a soul as damn it. And the worst part? No one knows why this content was brought together, or rather, perhaps someone did. Someone who no longer walks this world. Upon examining the Codex Gigas, experts notice something strange. Some pages appear to have been carefully torn out. Others have sections that were erased or violently crossed out, as if someone, at some point, had tried to hide part of its contents. But why? Theories suggest these sections contained full summoning rituals, formulas for spiritual control, or even coded messages that could only be read by those initiated in black magic. There are also those who claim the missing content revealed the true identity of the being who helped write the book, and that the torn pages were destroyed to ensure it would never be released again. What was written there may never be revealed. But perhaps, just perhaps, it still echoes between the pages that remain. For centuries, scholars have tried to rationally explain the origin of the Codex Gigas, ink tests, parchment analysis, handwriting comparisons, but nothing, absolutely nothing, can explain how someone wrote a book of nearly 800 pages in perfect symmetry alone in such a short time. Some try to claim that several monks worked in secret, but there's no variation in the handwriting. None. Others argue it was done over decades. But then why did the legend of the cursed night emerge so early and with such vivid detail? And most importantly, How do you explain the strange atmosphere people report when flipping through its pages? Feelings of nausea, sudden chills, or even bizarre dreams after seeing the image of the devil. Coincidence? Suggestion? Or could it be that the Codex Gigas is not just a book, but an object that holds a presence, one that's still alive? After its creation, the Codex Gigas passed through several monasteries, and wherever it went, strange things happened. Fires with no explanation, epidemics, monks going mad, seeing shadows, hearing whispers coming from the library. In 1648, the book was taken as war booty by the Swedes during the sack of Prague, and during transport, the cart carrying it mysteriously caught fire. All documents were burned. Except the Codex. It came out unscathed, not a single trace of ash. Coincidence? Today, the Codex Gigas is kept under heavy protection at the National Library of Sweden. But even there, librarians report that the book seems to vibrate on certain days. And the most unsettling part, since the Codex arrived at the library, it has never been loaned out again, as if no one dares to take it home. For centuries, the Codex Gigas was analyzed like any ordinary book. Ancient, yes, but just a historical artifact, until scholars noticed something no one had seen before. Certain symbols and drawings subtly repeat throughout the pages, tiny faces hidden in the margins, strange marks in the bottom corners of the leaves, and combinations of letters that on their own make no sense at all. But when connected like a puzzle, they form patterns that hint at numerology, astrology, and even Kabbalistic invocations. Some researchers believe the book holds an internal code, a hidden text that can only be read by someone who holds the right key, a language that blends faith, mathematics, and magic. As if the true content of the Codex is still there, concealed, waiting for the right reader or the right summoner. Many believe the Codex Gigas is not just a book. It is a cursed object, something that carries a dark energy, a presence that transcends time. It's no coincidence that every place it has passed through has suffered tragedies. In Prague, the castle where the Codex was kept mysteriously caught fire. In Stockholm, ancient records mention outbreaks of madness among monks and scholars who spent too much time reading the book. One of them was found repeating the same phrase over and over: "He is awake, he is awake," and then he fell silent. Forever today, the Codex is locked away, rarely displayed, and when it is, the atmosphere changes. Lights flicker, the air turns cold. Coincidence? Or is it the manifestation of the curse that lives within its pages? Because according to the ancients, a book can be read, but a pact is never undone. Today, the Codex Gigas is kept under heavy lock and key, rarely displayed, handled only with gloves, protected as if it should never be read again. But what if someone, one day, decides to open the book from beginning to end? What if that person knows the order of the hidden words, the meaning of the symbols, and discovers the missing key? Experts in ancient texts warn, if the Codex Gigas truly is a pact, reading it in full might be the same as reciting it, an invocation, a doorway, a summons. And the worst part, something might answer that summons, something sealed within its pages, that was never meant to return, because there are stories that were never meant to be read to the end. The Codex Gigas is still there, locked away, silent. But is it truly asleep, or just waiting for the right person to open it and release what was sealed centuries ago? What do you think? Is the book just an ancient legend, or a real portal to something much darker? Share your theory in the comments below. But be careful, some words once spoken can never be taken back. And if you love diving into mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because around here, not all knowledge is safe.